Hey everybody, how are you doing today? What's going on? I hope you're having a good day. We're going to check something about Aptera's beginning. We're going to talk about why Steve and Chris left Aptera in 2011. All right, stick with me and we'll get right into it.
I'm really trying to get reason right. Let's take our time and choose whether we green or yellow, whether we deep or shallow. Please me now, 'cause we're about to lose. Whether we buy or hello, whether we stay or jello.
So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It's William Biz with Free Power, and we're going to talk about something interesting. A lot of people don't know exactly why Chris and Steve left Aptera in the beginning when they first started, and of course they went downhill from there. But we're going to let actually Steve tell us why. These are actually a couple of podcasts, talk shows that I put together and hooked them up together. And he actually gives us the answer why him and Chris left. So let's get into that.
The board felt that we needed a quote professional automotive team, some team management team from Detroit with high volume experience. And so we went along with that and brought those team members in. I helped interview the CEO and some of them, and I think everybody gave it their best, but after a year, it just didn't work out. Well, what happened was, yes, our board encouraged us to bring in what they called professional management from automotive. And somewhat in their defense, again, new segment, new product, new industry. All of us were wondering, how do we go and raise big money, without having someone with automotive experience, at least on the management team? And of course, this being my first startup and Chris's second startup, and the amount of money that we were looking to raise, I suppose maybe we didn't, as founders, exude a lot of confidence with the early board that we could do this. And I think we had a lot of self-doubt as well. I think we were on board with getting a professional CEO who had automotive experience. And it was pitched to us as sort of like, the Eric Schmidt coming in to work with Larry and Sergey. And that was what was pitched to us. And that's what were expecting. But we were completely unprepared for the sort of Machiavellian evolution of the power structure and dynamics. And I've since come to learn this is sort of the standard fare, with at the time companies like Chrysler or other automotive companies. It's a very cutthroat, stab your way to the top, climb the ladder however you can kind of business. It isn't how Chris and I work or deal with things, but I suppose it is a reality, of the world. That's just how the world is. And so I'd say from the beginning, the relationship just didn't work well. We later found out they were not very complimentary, or not even, I suppose, trying to help us or support us, with the board. They were maybe professional team, had some plans all along. But it became clear we just couldn't work together. There wasn't mutual trust. There wasn't respect. And most importantly, they were unable to raise money. So Chris and I had raised all the money at that point. So after a year of this, Chris and I decided that they had to go, and we made our case. We built consensus with the board, but when it came down to the board vote and the fight, if you will, we were outvoted by one, and so we left the company and parted our ways. So that's kind of the short story of what happened. I went and started a vertical farming company because I love food and I love growing things, and I didn't want to use pesticides or herbicides. And so I got my first term sheet in a month after I left Aptera, and started FamGrow. And Chris started Flux Power, which at the time was, I think, one of the first sort of aftermarket or industrial BMS battery systems that one could buy for lithium. But I would say that we did not align well with the team. There was lots of friction. I think we tried. Maybe there's always stuff we could do better. But they were trying to run it like $1 billion company, and they were spending like it was $1 billion company, and they weren't able to raise any money. And so that was why we precipitated that fight, and we lost, and that's why we left. That's right. You have to believe in it. You have to at least make an attempt. And these guys and gals, it's not something that they believed in. It wasn't important to them. I think it was a job where they could make maybe a mark, And I think professionally, they wanted to do that. They did want to make a mark. And maybe in their mind, I think they were doing the right thing. But, none of them drove hybrids. Of course, there's no electric vehicles to drive at the time, but most of us did. And, we tinkered with electric vehicles, scooters, bicycles, cars, et cetera. There was this sort of ecosystem of hobbyists and lay knowledge in going in that field, that we had developed. And the team from Detroit just really had no interest in inserting themselves into that. And the way I describe it, that kind of thinking and skill set, from Detroit, this sort of professional automotive design, management, et cetera. We've got real automotive engineers that either work with us now or work, they're from different companies, all over the world, and they do incredible work. And you need that. But do you need that mentality driving at the top, like the kind of leadership that you have at GM or, Stellantis or something like that? I don't think so. I think you move too slow. You're thinking about things in ways that aren't really reflective of the unique segment that you're in or that you're creating. And too often than not, you can really only go back to your old playbook. And I think it's just one of the common things that even today we look for with managers who come from other industries. We have to make sure that they're open-minded enough to jettison thinking that may not be appropriate. And it's very difficult for professionals to do after 40 or 50 years old. It's like we've built something that serves as this lantern or spotlight that's very far away that shows people the way, and it draws people to it. And it does that for us. The vehicle almost creates that passion and interest for us. It's self-selecting. The people that come to us are already of that nature because they've seen the product and they know where we're going and they know what we're trying to do. And it self-selects for those kinds of people. It's just on a whole different level with Aptera. And then you add on top of it, for the Detroit team, that was too unsettling. They couldn't wrap their head around it. They had to make it what we called look like a rental car, with the standard sort of dashboard and vertical stack and round air vents and stuff that people would be familiar in if like they rented a Chrysler 200. So I'd say your primary differences are really in the interior, because the interior done by Jason Hill and his team is really where we've always wanted to take it. And again, that interior is just better in every possible way. I'll give you an example. So this is 2008, 2009. We had gone through the system design of how your key fob authenticates the user with the vehicle, and you get in and start, and going through the sort of state diagrams and flow charts that we created as engineers. We determined so we don't need the start button. Once you're authenticated and once you're sitting in the seat, and you're buckled, you should be able to put it in drive. Basically what Tesla does today, right? That's the conclusion that we came to. The Detroit team could not even begin to accept that. They believed that we had to have a key. Like, you have to put a key in the steering wheel and turn it. You just have to. That's how you do it. They just couldn't even have a conversation about it without becoming emotionally sensitive. They couldn't jettison this way of thinking to then rethink, what do you really need? Do you even need a start button? Do you even need a key? Why do you need a key? You don't need a key. So these were the kind of battles that we fought. And the interior was one of those battles. And they said, this has to be something that we said looks like a rental car. They were very proud of it. But if you look at images of that vehicle, after we left in 2010 or so, you can see it'd be comparable to any, Chrysler rental car today. Yeah, I think it's just an artifact of being from that industry. It's not that they were dumb. They were very smart people.
Of course, yeah.
They were intelligent. I think they were caring. I think they wanted to do well. But I think, there's always an inertia of comfort, an inertia of, the way you think that's difficult to shake off. And I'm not saying that this was a factor, in the destruction early of Aptera, but it was one of the factors that just caused us to slow down, caused us to spend more money. We were taking 2 months to do something that would take a week because we had to argue about things like, why do we need the key? I could go on and on. Even the brake pedal, I had to bring everybody out to the parking lot to show them my Prius brake pedal. Say, look, this is hollow folded sheet metal. This weighs less than a pound. Why are you proposing a forged, cast iron brake pedal? Well, because that's all they've ever designed, at Ford or the company they came from. They didn't even know that a hollow folded sheet metal brake pedal exists, like on the Toyota Prius. Yeah, so the old Aptera, I forget how many tranches we had in the old Aptera, but when Chris and I left, we handed over the keys. I think we had raised almost $50 million at the time. And I think there was about $20 million in the bank or so when we left.
All right, so here I see several things wrong with this picture, and I can totally understand why they left. I would have done the same thing. One is they came in and they wanted to take over the project of what Chris and Steve were doing so that it was no longer in the hands of Chris and Steve. But Aptera was their baby. They was the one that put that together. And yet you got some big shots come in, want to take over the whole thing, not even knowing what the vision was for Aptera. Yeah, that wouldn't work. The next one is they were spending like a big corporation. And they didn't even have the money to do it with. They wanted to come in and spend, but they didn't have the money to spend. So yes, there's another obstacle. Another one is, or number 3, we could say that Chris and Anthony was the one that was raising all the money. They were the one that was getting the capital together, just like they're doing now. And yet, these big shot wannabes, they wasn't raising not one dime. Chris and Anthony, they went out and worked for all the millions that they had. So I could see why that would have caused them to leave as well. And fourth, they didn't even have the vision as far as how to cut back. For instance, he brought out about a key. A key for the Aptera, you didn't need an actual key. You just needed something to verify the person who was getting into Aptera was the actual one that was going to be driving it or who had paid for it. But no, they said that you actually needed a literal key to put in the ignition. Their minds wasn't innovative enough. The same with as far as cutting costs. Steve showed that they had a little bent aluminum brake pedal that you could use that was pennies on the dollar compared to putting in a steel bar or an iron bar for the brake pedal. So that's another reason why they left. And also, they were taking too much time to figure out how they were going to finish designing Aptera. Steve said that they got into a big argument about what the interior was going to look like. Or like I brought out with the brake pedal, they would argue months over that, and something that should have taken just, a couple of days, possibly even a week to figure out. But yet here they are fussing and arguing over that. So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And once again, like I said, that was Steve and Chris's baby. So they knew exactly the path that they wanted to take. The people from the corporate, they had no clue which direction they were going to go. So now we're going to, you know what? Tell me what you think. Do you think that if they would have stuck with Aptera, if Aptera would have come out by now instead of leaving like they did? Give me your comments below and let me know. And also, I want to ask this. How long would you have stayed with Aptera if all that was going on and it was your company? So, that was a really tough decision. All right, so let's go to the leaderboard. Let's see what's happening on Aptera and take a look at the accelerator program and see how Aptera has stepped up. We know that a lot of people have actually joined on, and of course, the last time we checked, there was a big jump, which I checked about 2 days ago. So it was up to 852 investors. So let's see how many investors they're up to now. And there we are at 857 investors. All right, excellent. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. They're still moving kind of slow, which is to be expected. But I know it's probably going to pick up next week. And these people right here, they're going to get the best Aptera because it's going to be a collector's edition when they get their number 1 through 2000. And of course, RP is still a number 1, KW in number 2, GZ in 3, MB in 4, JB 5, GT 6, and JP 7. So if you got $10,000 you want to invest, this is the board to come through. That's what you want to do. You want to invest. I'm not a financial investor. Just to remind you, you need to talk to your own financial investor. If you talk to your own financial investor, you can figure out if this is the company that you want to invest in. Just want to let you know, though, that this is a really good company. And once they come out, there's so many things that's just going for this company. You have to really get involved. But if you don't, I understand. I totally understand. No problem there. And also, if you want to go ahead and get you an Aptera, you can use my link. Go to that website and use this link right here. It will take off $30 off the down payment. So yes, that would be the best way to go. You can set up your Aptera any way you want. And if you want to invest, you could go back to that website I was just at and you could put down $10,000. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I never claimed to be one. So if you do want to invest in Aptera, please talk to your financial associate. Those who give you ideas on what's the best company you should invest in. So yes, definitely do that. All right, so now we're going to give a shout out to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching my channel. And if you're new here, hit the like, ring the bell, subscribe. You'll catch all my new channels when they come out. You will learn about Aptera, and these guys are going to take over the auto industry or the BEV or the solar EV industry. Well, because since it's new, of course they're going to take over it. But yes, they're going to grow like wildfire, and they are really going to, everybody's going to want to jump on the bandwagon. And like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but this would be the company that you want to invest in. This is the one that's going to grow exponentially so fast that it's going to be hard for people to keep up with it. Everybody thinks Tesla grew pretty fast, which they did. Tesla is continuing to grow fast. But Aptera is going to be right there with them as far as the auto industry is concerned. And so this is the company you really want to get involved with. But you guys, y'all take care. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You keep me going, you keep me rolling, and you keep me wanting to make more and new videos. But I'm just so excited about Aptera because this company is doing everything possible in its power to not only just get running, but we know that once they get running, this is going to be the best vehicle and the best company that has come out in a very, very, very long time. So you guys, y'all stay awesome. Y'all take care. You enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. And you have a good one. We'll see you in the next video. All right. Bye-bye.